Okay, so today also I'm going to have a follow-up video on some other issues. I learned yesterday, although I knew in my heart that this didn't just happen yesterday, but that the week before, my previous husband has filed for divorce and, of course, wants to basically leave me with a bunch of responsibility and no accountability. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to play the game. I have hired a lawyer, and things are going to start taking shape in whatever way they're going to take shape. And I am going to be going through a divorce. I'm very sad about this because I feel like when I cared for his mother for 11 years, it cost me my health. Things went really very wrong for me right when she was dying. I started getting very, very sick and not really ever totally recovered. And to consider that what I get in return from him, and mainly one other family member that is very close to him, is a lot of greed. And he wants to more or less leave me with a whole lot less than he wants for himself. So the greed is something that I just feel sad about. I'm going to admit I feel rather frightened right now. I feel like, oh my God, my health, my situation. He wants to take my medical insurance. He wants to provide me $330 a month to live on. It's just ridiculous what all he asked me to tolerate from him. $1,000 a month that he would pay $570 for my medical insurance, and I would get a net difference of $330. Nobody lives on $330, and even for him to suggest that's reasonable, given my contributions to him and his family, is just gross to me. So right now, I am in this process of realizing many, many things that all throughout the marriage, I was always handed the hard, complicated financial process. Here, fix this. Here, fix that. I don't want to do it. You take care of that. I don't like the stress of this. You fix it. And so the entire marriage, for me, the burdens were greater than the joys. If I would get in the car with him, it was a location where I was trapped. It didn't matter if we were going out and doing something fun. It would always turn into something for him where this was a place he could say how he really felt, which was really all about his nether regions and had lots and lots to do with what he thought was appropriate as me, a prostitute, and his wife should provide him. And so, yeah, I'm really, really sad. I'm very disgusted. I'm really glad he's gone. I don't really ever have. I'm grateful to him for other reasons. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this hard work that I'm doing right now had all of this very painful reality not occurred. But as I've said before, I'm bringing this because I want to document. I want those of us who go through things like this, there's going to be lots of us. The light workers are really going to start seeing this the Aries Libra eclipses, and we have one coming up. I thought it was like further along, but it's not. It's here. It's now. It's going to happen within this next eclipse season. So we're going to have a Scorpio Taurus, and then we're going to have a Libra Aries. So it's here. And no wonder I'm feeling it. I've been telling people, be prepared, because what is Aries? Aries is about that fight for freedom, for survival, for adventure, for well-being, for a sense of wholeness and goodness. But yet it's done from a perspective of survival. It's fighting through things. It's finding its way forward. And of course, my Mars is in a bit of a not so happy place. And I'm in my 6th house, where it's a lot of medical for me. So yeah, it's malefic. Okay, we consider it a malefic in medical astrology. So here I am, I'm going through this process where it's fairly painful. And I'm trying to kind of talk to myself. I use essential oils. And I'm doing things like, I want to just mention this, that part of what I'm learning in terms of medical astrology, and that I and my co-reader Maha will be providing, is a really simple formula, but it isn't simple at all. We're going to be looking at stress, diet, and sleep. And we use things like you journal and you write down what you eat, what medicines you take during the day, what kind of things are you doing. And we help you look at the various aspects of these things and create a formula using crystals, essential oils, dietary changes, sleep changes, breathing patterns, all of it. We put it all in there to help you recover from life's hardness. And that's what it is. So please do consider booking a reading for these issues, because we are very thorough. We do intake, we make sure we understand the patient, we provide the meetings, we meet internally, we look at your chart, we are very close to being done with our first phase of medical astrology. Then we're going to go in and we're going to really research charts next and just solidify the foundations we have been learning. But right now I want to kind of focus again on this change in my life, this change of status. And as I say, we're all going to be experiencing something of a change of status here. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to go through a breakup, but let's hope not. But that is how it affected me. So where do we start? We start with the Star card. That, for me, and this is so true, I loved him to the ends of the earth. I'm going to put this one on and get a little bit better light. I loved him to the ends of the earth, and I just thought I had the sun, the moon, and the stars with him. And then as time went on, as we got out of the love bombing stage, we went into the full-on discounting stage. And all throughout my marriage, he would tell me, I want you and I want somebody else. I want to have the options. I am such a good and virile man. I need more than one woman, which, fine, if that's how you feel. And like I told him several times in the course of the marriage, is that if he wanted another, that, maybe I wasn't the right person for him. So I think it held him back. I mean, I didn't really feel like sharing in that way the bodily juices. Not to say that I have any real problem with, I don't think that fidelity or infidelity is the end-all be-all of a relationship, but I didn't want myself to be exposed to the various things. I've been autoimmune and my health has been troubled, and and I understood his need for physical connection with someone, anyone, but I didn't anticipate the way it would play out, that I would give him permission to be, okay, fine, you do what you want to do. And eventually that's kind of how I got. It was like, okay, I give up. You want to, have a relationship with another woman, please, by all means, don't ask me permission. I don't need to give it to you. You're a man, you decide for yourself. Of course, if I were to even so much as look in the direction of a man, he would flare up like a hot rocket, wanting to blast things to pieces. So it was not an equitable relationship at all. So now we're just going to go on and we're just going to ask the cards. And we're using the Tinker's Dam today. I love these cards for my relationship questions. Okay, the Four of Air, right. It was all for him. It was all what he wanted, how he felt, what he thought. And he is a number 4. I'm a 9. I'm an empath. I'm a hermit. I go in, I retreat, I think carefully before I move. I have a very slow moon. I want to just take my time, think things through, where, he was like, yeah, ram it through. And here we are now. That's what he's doing. He's saying, nope, you don't want to do this, that, and the other. And, he provided me ultimatums. You come home, you give me money to pay off my house, you accept a whole lot less for you, and I'm willing to talk with you about things. And I'm sorry, but at this point, I cannot be bought. I don't care what he thinks of me. I don't care how much this hurts. And there's a part of me, I just don't care anymore. If he wants to do this to me, he's showing me who he is and who he's always been. And it's always been about, you do it my way or that's it. And so here we are. And I've been under this oppression for a long time, feeling like, okay, it's either his way or it is no way at all, and I'm going to be massively hurt. And he's been making these threats. He would say things to me like, well, I'm just going to get on my horse and ride and disappear, and I'm going to make sure nobody gets anything ever. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to answer to anybody. I'm not going to be responsible. You do this to me, I'm going to hurt you in the worst kind of way. And this is what I've been under for years. And it's no wonder my body got so sick. It's no wonder. And I know that for the last, I want to say the last, since COVID, basically, when I had to be trapped in a fifth wheel with him, where he worked his federal job, and there was no end to the amount of inward control, his boss, him, talk about psychopaths, my God, no end to it. And it's, yeah, I was way over it there, and I didn't realize how over it I was. And I think that I'd come to the point that I was ready to accept death, and there was a couple of different times that I came quite close to death as a result of it. So now, of course, I came here in Hawaii in hospice. That was the reason we ended up coming here, was so that I could come here and do hospice, because I felt like if I'm going to die, I'd like to die in the belly of Mother and in the ocean. I want to be here where I have a lot of really high-end spiritual feedback. And what has happened is that I've carefully clawed my way back from horrible circumstances to where I'm at right now, which is a whole lot better. My stuff isn't perfect. It's not ever going to be perfect, but I'm finding myself okay again in some ways. But notice the ring finger, it's not there anymore. That's the wrong hand. But yeah, I'm not wearing a ring. I'm not expecting myself to be under that authority and control anymore. And yes, I'm frightened because he is holding the purse strings. He can hurt me something furiously right now. But if he does, legally, I have avenues to go, which I'm going to have to utilize, which I didn't want to do, because I don't think we should have to have, for people that say they love us, why do we have to go hire an attorney, like get our parents to come in and say, okay, these are the rules, you have to follow them. We all know that, but no, I have to go through, because he's such a little boy in a way, that he has to have somebody tell him how to behave right now, which is disgusting. We could save a lot of money and not have this occur, but he's got to have his mommy or his daddy or whatever it is. His wounding says it requires someone else to tell him what is fair and what isn't. Well, we all know what's fair and what isn't fair in our heart of hearts, do we not? And I was completely willing to be fair with him. But now he's putting me over a barrel, and I'm just appalled. So what do we get? The last card, Eight of Fire. Yeah, call to action for me. That sense of who I am, that desire to be free, to be an intelligent being in the air of life and groups and hope and life. Yes, I'm gonna fly free, and so is he. And thank God. And with that, I have to say, I'm not ever going to be in a relationship like that again. I don't want that ever again. And now I'm 62. For those of you who are younger and watch my podcast, pay attention. If you notice that somebody is love bombing you and then withdrawing their affections, pouting, shunning, whatever they do to get you to straighten up and fly right, run away as far as you can get and don't look back, because that is not love. And yes, we've been taught as women we owe our man something, but do we? Is that really true? We are the divine feminine. We are the bodies that bring life onto planet Earth. And yet we're so devalued. Our femininity is so devalued. But yet without us, there could be no life. Why is it that we're so devalued? I don't know. But this card is saying that we're about to, in some level of strength, fly free. We're about to find our way out of this puzzle box. And particularly me, I'm finding my way out of the puzzle box. He filed for divorce, and of course he wants everything for him. He's willing to give me little bits or parts, something I have to, in order to agree with him, I have to accept quite a bit less, so that he doesn't feel like he lost. In order to win, he has to have more. So we're going to pull one more card today in Hawaii. 4 cards, or the number 4, is something of some strength. Okay, so the final card is the Nine of Fire. Yeah, that's me going into retreat with my cat, and you can see blood is in the sky. Things are about to happen, and I'm not going to accept it laying down, and he's not going to see me coming. He is not going to properly assess me. He basically believes that I'll fold and give him what he wants, but the truth is, he has pushed me into a corner for the very last time. I took care of his mom for 11 years. Even at the very least, it should have been $15,000 a year that I could have earned income taking care of her. But yet his brother and he basically wanted me to do it for nothing so that they had more in the estate. And right now, dumping me like a hot rock because, well, I'm no longer useful. I'm no longer behaving. I'm no longer saying what they want me to say and doing what they want me to do. And so, for all of these reasons, I want to continue to share, as I go through this, what it's like for me, so that everywhere I help women who are experiencing self-esteem, loss, feelings of fear and abandonment. This started back when I was a child, for sure. And I've had a pattern my entire life of choosing people who demonstrate to me the poorer things in life. And that is never going to occur to me again. I will find my way out of this. And I will keep you all updated as to how I do so. And with that, I thank you so much for joining me here today. Please do consider a reading, booking a reading. Myself and Maha provide readings in the medical range of stress, diet, sleep, and this is and lifestyle. Basically, we work with medical doctors in this sense, in terms of we're not going to try to come in there and take over what doctors do or profess to be doctors. That's not what we are. But we are very able, given our medical circumstances, each one of us, to give you a lot of very helpful tips in going forward in a very troubling time. And with that, thank you so much for joining me.